Up until recently, the euro has been a strong currency, a reflection of Europe's economic might. Now it's become a target for speculators on international financial markets. Some leading European politicians say it's the brunt of a globally organized attack and they want it stopped.
We now see herd behaviors in the market that are really pack behaviors, wolf pack behaviors. And if we will not stop these packs, they will tear, even if it's self-inflicted weakness, they will tear the weaker countries apart.
Betting against one eurozone country is actually betting against all 16 countries which share the European currency. Last week, the EU responded unequivocally. Along with the International Monetary Fund, they've put together a massive rescue package to protect the euro. The package is worth 750 billion euros. The German contribution is expected to be 123 billion of taxpayers' money, something Chancellor Merkel now has to sell in Berlin.
This package is designed to protect and support our common currency. It is unique in the history of the euro and the European Union. In an extraordinary situation, we are protecting our currency. So I can tell our citizens, we are protecting the money of people in Germany.
Average citizens aren't the only ones listening carefully to the Chancellor. Ulrich Stockheim is a consultant to the Wolfpack and intimately acquainted with the world of finance.
Germany has now, first of all, done more than it can afford on the financial side. Right now, they're more concerned about making a big symbolic move, being quick, and putting up a large amount of money.
Everything began in Greece. Unbeknownst to many, the small country was living beyond its means for years. Little was produced, little revenue was generated. Instead, using the stability of the euro, Greece borrowed more and more.
For me, that's the main mistake. Too much public debt, too little oversight, no sanctions. Just letting things run out of control. Those are the main causes of the crisis. Then on top of that, you get speculators trying to push things in one direction or another.
The crisis could hit German banks already weakened by the financial meltdown. They willingly lent Athens money. A sovereign default by Greece would be a fiasco for them, so the rescue package helps the banks as well. German banks hold 34 billion euros of Greek debt, and their exposure in other debt-ridden eurozone countries is even greater. 36 billion in Portugal, 138 in Ireland, and 178 in Spain.
There's definitely more coming our way.
We'll have to pay the most. And where's it going to come from? Us taxpayers.
I was against the introduction of the euro.
As an Englishman, it's fine. We don't have the euro.
I'm a goldsmith. I have my money in gold, platinum, and diamonds. It's so safe, it's wonderful. I don't worry about the euro very much.
The costs of the 2008 financial crisis were borne by the taxpayer. Since then, politicians have vowed to better regulate the banks and force them to pay the costs. But little has really changed.
The problem is the crisis isn't over yet. It's difficult to act in the midst of an ongoing crisis. Regulating banks, for example, is very difficult to implement because we're still afraid of credit drying up.
For the most part, politicians cave in to the financial industry in the same way they cave into most areas of industry. And I can't tell you why they do that.
One of the few concrete measures that has been planned is the implementation of a levy on banks. German banks would contribute about $1 billion a year into a stability fund. But given the risks that run into the hundreds of billions, it's more of a symbolic contribution. And politicians know that. The promised regulation of the financial markets has so far been deflected by bank lobbyists. And despite calls to the contrary, public debt will continue to grow.
The debt crisis we have now will lead to inflation. In my view, there's no avoiding it. That means that if I put away 1,000 euros right now, in 10 years it will only be worth half as much.
The euro needs to be saved, whatever the cost. That the banks will once again be bailed out by the taxpayer seems to be the price of preventing an even greater disaster.